With day 1 and 2 complete of the NFL draft, we found out what team won, what team lost, and who was kind of in between. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are having a great day. Today I'm bringing you a video recapping day 1 and 2 of the NFL draft. Before we get started, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to hit and turn on your bell notifications to make sure you stay up to date with my videos. All right, so the question that I always get from some of the fans, basically when we take players, whether it be the Ravens, whether it be other teams or whatever, I always get the questions of, why do we take that person? Why do we take this guy? We could have took this person. We could have took that person. So the thing that you got to understand is the needs or the measurables that they use may not align with what the fans want. So with that being said, you got to always just sit back and watch the GMs and people do work. Now, not every time will a top 10 pick pan out. Not every time will a seventh rounder end up out of the league in 2 years. So as you guys can see, you look at some Hall of Famers have been seventh rounders or even undrafted. So just make sure you guys pump your brakes, do a little bit of research, and don't just alienate yourself away from the franchise because you figure, hey, they didn't take this guy, so I hate this team right now. So don't be that type of person. Okay, so over the course of this video, I'm gonna have 4 categories that I basically talk about. It's kind of the meh. They didn't get better. They didn't get progressively worse or anything like that. They kind of stayed where they are. Now this is all not counting the day 3 picks. Like I told you, this is day 1 and day 2 in the intro. So meh. I have the losers. I have the winners, and then I have not enough. What I mean by not enough, meaning that, hey, they didn't significantly get enough of what they need. Basically saying, hey, look, they got some players, but they didn't do enough to take care of their needs and so forth. So reason why the difference between the meh and the not enough, meh was kind of, hey, okay, you got players, but they don't make you better. They don't make you better. They don't take you down. Also, you may have cap issues and so forth. So when it comes down to it, you're just picking players that you're probably not going to sign anyway. So that's why I put them in the meh category versus the losers. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Meh versus not enough, not the loser category. So to start it off, I'm always start off with the either the losers or meh or maybe not enough, and I'll end on a good note with the winners. All right, so not enough. Right off the rip, I got the Arizona Cardinals. The reason why I have the Arizona Cardinals in the not enough realm is because you started out phenomenal with Rondale Moore and you got Xavier Collins. Those are 2 phenomenal picks. They're going to come in and they're going to probably contribute early on in their career. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, they're going to be Hall of Famers. No, I'm definitely not saying that. But what I am telling you is the speedster and Rondale Moore and the the ability to create yards after the catch. He will thrive in that Cliff Kingsbury type of offense. Many would argue that was one of the missing pieces that they needed. They needed a speedster guy, especially with them getting some of their receivers back from being hurt. Pairing him up with D-Hop, this is almost a home run for Arizona Cardinals offense. And the defense, Xavier Collins. If you guys don't know, this guy is multiple. He's won multiple awards and throughout his collegiate career as a linebacker. He can cover, he can hit. He's a field general. He can do it all when it comes down to it. He's underrated, in my opinion, because of the school that he went to. If he was anywhere else beside of Tulsa, if he was somewhere, in the SEC or even, the Big Ten somewhere, he would be highly regarded. He would be highly sought after based off of his ability and what he's able to do on the field. All right, moving along. Next one is Seattle. Seattle Seahawks they have 3 picks throughout this entire draft. That to me, I'm still not understanding that based off of you're trying to build, you're trying to get Russell Wilson on the offensive line. You're trying to get back the ability to play defense because you lost your identity on the defense. Everybody's seen that. You're giving up, 450 yards plus of offense week in and week out over a stretch of the season. That's huge. So you have to do something to kind of replenish that. And 3 picks is just not enough. It's just not going to be enough. Hopefully they have some more tricks up their sleeve for free agency to kind of rebound and get back to where they want to be. Next team is Atlanta. Atlanta, I called it. I know you guys are going to take Kyle's picks. It was a no-brainer. It only made the most sense. Kyle Pitts is what people are saying, generational talent. So it made sense to take it. Now, what you did outside of that, you got Mayfield from Michigan, the offensive lineman, and then you got Richie Grant out of UCF. I don't know about those picks. I don't know about them because the reason why I don't know about I think you have the order mixed up. I probably would have went offensive lineman first and then probably went the offensive guy. I will tell you, you do need another edge. I would have tried to get another edge, and the significant drop off for the edge rushers right now is huge when it comes down to that versus the offensive lineman. Offensive lineman, you still have a kind of few gems left. You may be able to walk away with something that's pretty decent that may not be an immediate starter, but within the 1 or 2 years they could help and contribute on your offense or defense. The Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, is it a great pickup for you guys? And Tevin Jenkins is a great pickup as well. It just, are you going to give us more of this? Are you going to give us more of this? Because you have more than a offensive lineman and a quarterback need on this team. Who are you going to pair with Allen Robinson? Are you going to get more defensive help for Khalil Mack and company? Because at the end of the day, you guys have to want to play defense in that division because Green Bay isn't going anywhere. Detroit had a really, really good draft so far. So I will tell you, Chicago, you gotta build back up that defense, and on top of this, you got to protect your quarterback, whoever that may be. Whether it's going to be Fields, if he's going to get some shots throughout the season, or if it's going to still be Foles. So you got to be able to protect your quarterback moving forward. All right, next one, not enough. Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, you went defense. You went defense, which is fine. It's not an issue with the defense. I don't have an issue with the defensive picks that you've made because you made some significant picks. You took 2 cornerbacks, defensive tackle, and I think you took a linebacker. No, I'm sorry. I think you took all your picks for defense. I think it's 3. I think you took 2 cornerbacks and a defensive tackle, I think. So I don't have an issue with what you've done so far. My issue is this: your offensive line is getting old. At some point, you're going to need to address it. You won't be able to luck out every year by picking 6th-round talent offensive linemen. I don't know if that's a strategy of you guys, or I don't know if you're saying, hey, we just want to try and luck out later on when it comes down to the money. Because I do know, some teams do say, hey, look, we're not going to pick a player in the 1st round because we don't want to pay that money when it comes down to that 5th-year option being picked up and so forth. All right. Next one is so Detroit. I have Detroit in the not enough category, not because of what they have done, but because what they need. They need a lot. They need a whole lot. They have no identity on offense or defense, especially losing Stafford. At least they had a little bit of passing offense, so they can at least, hey, if he was healthy, we could throw the ball around the yard a little bit. And they had a decent little run game that came in there for a little bit with KJ and Swift. So when he was there, when he got hurt, it just went all to crap. So I just think Detroit, what they have done so far, defensively and offensively, I think this is the right step. The right step. Picking up, I think they got Penny Sewell. Picking up Penny Sewell was great for them. So I just hope they can get the more pieces to build that line up and protect Jared Goff. Protect Jared Goff. And now I would like for them to get another receiver. Get another receiver. And then now we can slowly but surely start building up the defensive side. So once you got a little bit more on the defensive side, they can start to contend for the third place, and then eventually try and compete for the division. Yeah, that's right. I said Detroit competing for a division. For the division title in the NFC North. If they do what they need to do and they keep building off of this, I look for them to compete here in the next few years. All right. Next team is on Not Enough is the New York New York Jets. I'm sorry. New York Jets. They got Zach Wilson and they got Elijah Moore. I don't know if that's enough. Now I do know they have Corey Davis. They have Crowder, and now they bring in Elijah Moore. I just don't know if that's enough on the defensive side because they needed help on the defensive side. I know they got some pass rushers. I know they got the linebackers coming back from opting out for COVID and whatnot, and one coming back from injury. But is their secondary going to be up to par? Do they have enough in the secondary? Do they have enough defensive tackles? Do they have enough pass rushers? Because I know you got Carl Lawson's coming in, who they're going to pair him with. I would like to see that. And are you going to take a shot in the dark with a guy in the 6th or 7th round, or are you going to bring in a free agent that's still out there, the likes of maybe Justin Houston if he doesn't sign with Baltimore, or maybe some other edge rusher that's out in free agency you may be looking at. All right, so moving right along to the meh category. Indianapolis, they took two defensive ends as basically projects. To me, they have one of the more complete rosters in the NFL, but I still think you should have addressed the offensive line issue with Castano retiring. Once he retired, you kind of knew, hey, I have to go pick an offensive lineman to basically come in and refill that hole. Now, you may already have that person identified in free agency. You're probably just not letting people know. If you do, that's great. If not, I think you should have filled that by now. Next team is Jacksonville. Jacksonville had 100 picks, and they also have 100 needs. So with that being said, I just don't see how they can fill all of their holes, their voids, their people left. Now they got a lot of players coming in, but a lot of those players they have to gel. They have to gel with each other. And then by the way, you got players that are new to the NFL, new to Jacksonville. You got coaches that are new to the NFL. Everybody kind of have to find their way in believing in the system and so forth. And is he going to have some bumps in the road? Yes, you're definitely going to have some bumps in the road. And then you got to also weed out who's going to be bought in and who's not going to be bought in. Because we can say this 30,000 times, just because a player was Hall of Fame worthy in one spot or with one coaching staff doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate with the next coaching staff. Because the next coaching staff may have a different point of view for what they want this particular player to be or what they want them to do for them. So that may change. A good example would be the guy used to be in Atlanta. He got traded. Anyway, I can't remember his name, but he was he went to Clemson, and they had him. They wanted him to rush the quarterback at first. That's what he was doing in Clemson, which is fine. He played safety, and he can also do some other different things. He played safety. He could drop in coverage if need be, but then he could rush the quarterback off of us as a supplement to other players. He was not primarily the player named Vic Beasley. So he was not primarily a guy just to sit back and just rush the quarterback all the time on his own. If if you're going to rush the quarterback, it was a collective effort when it comes down to where he's going to be at. And then the other thing is uh, putting his hand in the dirt. Was he undersized? Yes, you can make that argument. Was he fast enough? You can make that argument. That's why if you look at his college tape, it was a collective uh, 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 effort to go get after the quarterback on that Clemson defense. And so I just feel when he went to Atlanta, I think they tried to make him just straight up go rush the quarterback, and I didn't think he was going to excel there. In case of point, he got released and he went to team after team after team, and I don't even know if he's still in the league now. So that's one thing that I think that teams get you got to understand. A guy on the team, if he's a deliberate pass rusher, you trying to say, hey, you know what? I don't want you to pass rush now. I want you to be in dropping coverage. You can have a lot of turnover by doing that by reassigning his role on the defense. All right, the last team that's on the meh is Kansas City. Kansas City at times just seems like they just don't care about free agency. They figure, hey, you know what? Our only need is offensive line. We don't care about the defense too much because hey, at the end of the day, it's about controlling teams and make sure it don't get out of hand. If we within striking distance, which their striking distance is pretty long, as the Houston Texans. Sorry, Houston Texan fans, but so their striking distance is pretty long. 20 plus points is not an issue for them to come back. So for them, it's kind of like, hey, okay, what do we have that can kind of give us a shot in the arm for what we already do well? And I'll tell you, they did it. They got Creed Humphrey. To me, on paper and name wise, they probably are competing with Indianapolis to have the most well-rounded offensive line in the NFL at this point. Creed Humphrey, Orlando Brown, and Thurney, and all those guys, they they are set. They are set to really provide some protection for Patrick Mahomes. Now, the run game is what's going to be scary to me because you really haven't addressed it. Yeah, you got Jared McKinnon, but is Jared McKinnon going to be the featured guy outside of Clyde Edwards-Helaire? If he's going to be the featured guy, got it. If not, if he's going to kind of be that third running back on the roster, I don't know. Because if Clyde Edwards-Helaire struggles or if he's injury riddled again, it may not be great. It may not be great when it comes down to running the ball. And what does that mean? Nothing to the Chiefs because once again they have an offense. If they're within striking distance, they can strike. So at the end of the day, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They can put up 40, 50 points every game within maybe a quarter and a half. All right. So moving along to the losers. This one was pretty hard for me. Reason why I say it was pretty hard for me because I don't really like to say teams lost the draft because you never know what a player could develop into. You never know what an organization may have a player do once they get them on the roster. They may get them on the roster as a pass rusher and realize, hey, wait a minute, you know what? I got it. You are great as a pass rusher, but you're better coming from the backside versus running straight on to where we think the play is going. Or you may be better at, hey, just go play containment. Just go play containment on the quarterback and keep him boxed in, is what they call it. Keep him boxed in to where he can't get outside the pocket. And now we kind of control the game, make him become a pocket passer. And that type of defense, that type of defensive player is it's overrated in some situations, but it's to some situations, like if you're playing like a Lamar Jackson or a mobile quarterback and you can keep him bottled in or boxed in, that is huge. Because now you're saying, hey, I want you to do something that either you're not accustomed to or you may be uncomfortable. You may have some judgment or whatever issues. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson has any kind of judgment issues, but is he used to throwing 40 balls a game? No. He probably don't want to throw 40 balls a game. And I'll be honest with you, his OC probably don't want to see him throw 40 balls a game. And that's how the Baltimore Ravens have been constructed. So if you have those type of players basically help contribute in their own way, not so much as just getting sacks. All right. So the losers, I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills as a loser. Reason being is they took 2 pass rushers and an offensive tackle, and they still need inside offensive line help, a center or a guard. They need that because they had a lot of injuries. If you ask some Bills fans, that probably was the reason why they lost a couple of their games. So with that being said, I think you have to kind of address the needs of your team at some point. Every team is not going to win rounds 4 through 7 with getting diamonds in the rough. You got to take a chance on somebody to give you what you're looking for. Now, projections are not always spot on, and that goes both ways. Whether it be rounds 1 through 3, these guys don't always play or end up with a Hall of Fame career, as well as rounds 4 through 7. They don't always end up being duds. Ask Tom Brady. All right. And the other thing is they have a need. They have a need in the secondary that they didn't address. So I think they should address it on the final day. But you just don't know what you're going to get when it comes down to talent wise and how much you got to develop these particular players. Not so much of developing them into being better football players, develop them into what you want them to be. Because that's another thing too. You take a player, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pan out for you because he may take a certain type of teaching method that you guys have, and that may not resonate with him. You may actually have to run through the drill yourself. So now the player sees it and is like, oh, okay, this is what you want me to do, and then go from there. All right, the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals. They took two projects, but these projects are going to start. They are looking at them to come in and contribute early on in their career. I like Jamar Chase. I like him. But I don't know. I just don't know if he's ready to come in and do what he did at LSU in the AFC North. The AFC North, what people don't realize is it's different. It's really, really different when people can rush your quarterback and then, oh yeah, by the way, they can shut your run game down too. So with that being said, you don't have a run game. I don't know what you're going to do with Joe Mixon. I do know you let Giovanni Bernard go. And I think he's with the Patriots now. So if you did that, you're basically saying, all right, Joe Mixon, you're the guy. And if he's going to be the guy, then you got to be able to run the ball. I got it. You want to fling it around the yard. You got all these receivers and so forth. But at some point, if you do get touchdowns, you got to protect that lead. How are you going to protect that lead? And I just think Cincinnati didn't think about that as of right now. The last thing is, do they want to play defense? do the Cincinnati Bengals want to ever play defense? You lost a lot on your defense when it comes down to people being released, and you lost Carl Lawson, who was a young, promising player. I think he had 8 sacks last year. So with that being said, you got to replace that. I don't know if you can do it at this point. Maybe over spread out over the course of years, probably. But right now, just don't see it. All right, the Broncos. You traded up for a running back, the running back from North Carolina, who's a great back. I'm not gonna take anything from him. He's a great back, but are you releasing Melvin Gordon? Are you not letting us know this? Because you still got Melvin Gordon on your roster. I just didn't see the need for it. If you needed a supplement or a shot in the arm, I understand that. Why would you trade up for it and you need offensive line help? Didn't you lose your quarterback to injury? You lost your quarterback to injury, so you're trying to protect Drew Lock, or you're trying to protect if you're gonna get Aaron Rodgers. You're trying to protect him, so you should make it as enticing as you can for if Aaron Rodgers is gonna come there, or maybe do you already have Aaron Rodgers coming, and you're already talking to a free agent lineman to help protect him. Who knows? All right, moving along, Green Bay. Green Bay, you took a secondary guy. You should have took a speedy receiver. I think it was Rondale Moore or even Elijah Moore. You could have taken either one of them instead of going secondary first. I just didn't see you have. Yeah, I know King got torched. He got torched in the NFC Championship game. But was that need bigger than your offense sputtering time in and time out? And yeah, you put a lot of stuff on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders, but this is how you put the ball back in Aaron Rodgers' court. Hey, guy, we went out, we got you this receiver. Now let's go. Let's go and let's get past these woes that you have in the NFC Championship, or what people are saying, because people are basically saying, hey, you run this 10-mile race, you get down to to the last half mile, and you sputter out. You just pass out. You don't complete the race. And that analogy is the equivalent to what Aaron Rodgers has been doing over his career, not just in the past 10 years. I'm talking about in his entire career. Outside of him winning that one Super Bowl, people have basically said, hey, he fizzes out in the NFC Championship. So, what better way to disprove that, to give him that receiver to go along with Devontae Adams, and now, hey, you have the more complete offense. Oh yeah, by the way, you need to get some offensive line help as well, because you did have some injuries and you did lose some guys to free agency. So with that being said, get you some offensive line help. Get you the receiver, which you got. I like the order. And then let's see what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. All right. The Las Vegas Raiders. You need O-line help. I think you lost 2 or 3 of your linemen in free agency, and you're now relying on day 3 pickups. Once again, I'm not sitting here saying that they won't all be good. I won't all say they're all going to be bad, but the risk doesn't outweigh the reward. When it comes down to what they could be, what these guys could translate to be. The reason why I say that is because the guys that are day 3 type of guys and they're offensive linemen, 9 times out of 10, a lot of them don't have a lot of playing experience. So you got to kind of groom them and to get them accustomed to playing, longer seasons. That's another thing too, is some of the guys that play, they play a 10-game schedule, and that has been it. 10 games versus 17 games is huge, because now you're talking about a conditioning issue. Conditioning, as your conditioning goes, if you're not conditioned, you are prone to more and more injuries, whether it be lack of technique, lack of fatigue, whatever. But as an offensive lineman, you get fatigued, you have the wrong technique. Now people just roll you up, or people bend you the wrong way because you're tired. You're not able to hold your ground or hold your level, and now you have those issues. Okay. All right. And the next team is the Rams. The Rams won the free agency, as I said in one of my videos, but now I think they're kind of giving it back, because you drafted a 155-pound wide receiver. Yes, he is fast. That's great. That's great. But your speed is only going to get you so far, because what people are going to do is people are going to give you a cushion. People are going to give you a cushion, and they're going to sit back and say, all right, okay, where is this person at? Let me try and keep him in front of me. Now, if you had another speedster at the wide receiver spot, you could probably make this work. I'm not saying, hey, the kid is not going to be effective. He will be effective, because you got Sean McVay as a play caller. I know Sean McVay will learn how to put or make up or get the schemes if he doesn't already have them. Because, like I said, he has done this before. He had Brandon Cooks before. So with that being said, I see the possibility there. I see it, but it's just a matter of, okay, how quick is it going to take you to get him up to speed? Because now, or not up to speed, but get his weight up for one. He needs to be around probably about the 170 to where he can take a hit and be okay. Because I'm just being honest with you, as long as the secondary guys are hitting him, it's fine, no issue. Once the bigger guys get the landing on him, even if they don't have to hit him hard. Once they get the landing on you, you're gonna have to take that punishment week in and week out. And once the team knows you're not built to take that punishment, that is the first thing they're gonna do. Hey, look, where is this guy at, that 155-pound receiver? Let me go find him. And all I'm gonna do is give him a little bit of extra love. Give him a little bit of extra love, and here you go. Now he's kind of thinking about me tackling him and not playing to the best of his ability. All right. The Philadelphia Eagles is next on the loser spot. Reason being is Philadelphia, all it seemed like Philadelphia wanted to do is just draft as many Alabama players as you can, even the not so good ones, or even the injury riddled ones. You took Dickerson, Landon Dickerson, which is he's a fine player. He's fine. How much of his injury is going to come along? His injury history is going to come along with him on the team. He's had multiple ACL tears. He's had ankle surgeries. He's had all different kind of little, dings and bruises along the way. You probably need to give him a few games to probably just heal up, let his body heal, and then now you turn around. If you're asking that dude to come in and be a starter, I just don't see this panning out for the Eagles. Now, who knows? He may, get that extra strength Tiger Balm, and so now he's 100% healthy, and so his health is always going to be a concern to me going forward, especially based on where he went. Had he went somewhere, Indianapolis, Kansas City, somewhere that has a great line that he can kind of sit back and say, hey, I'm just going to be a practice player right now, a practice depth person, and then, oh yeah, by the way, slowly ease my way into the rotation. Not so much of multiple games, but kind of a few games, maybe a blowout game here or there, and now I get a chance to get in and get some reps and be okay. I just don't see his injury history. Just basically saying, all right, we're going to give you a clean bill of health because you're now in the NFL. All right, next loser team I have is the Steelers. They addressed the O-line, but still have defensive needs. They have holes at the linebacker and the secondary spot based on what they lost. The linebacker spot, not so much, because they can kind of use Robert Spillane to kind of help out. Spillane and I think it's Witherspoon or something like that. You can use those guys to kind of help, supplement that linebacker pass coverage need. When it comes down to the pass rusher, they're going to definitely have to address that at some point, because losing Bud Dupree is something you can't take lightly. You can't take lightly. Now, you are going to get Bush back. You are going to get Bush back. I think that'll be a good shot in the arm back to you. I just don't know how fast is he going to be able to come back and play back to where he was before he left, before he got injured. So if he does come back and he's anywhere near where he was, that's a field general for you, so he can kind of help direct Spillane and whoever else is in there. All right. The last losing team on the draft I have is the Tennessee Titans. They have a pass rusher need. They lost Jadeveon Clowney. He wasn't anything significant, but he did fill a role on that team. Whether he was effective or not is neither here nor there. It's the fact that you need to be able to get out to the quarterback. The same thing with Jonnu Smith. Losing Jonnu Smith to the Patriots was huge getting them for the Patriots. But for them, what's that going to do to your offense? Do you lose that ability in the red zone? Do you lose that ability in third and long situation to have that immediate matchup problem? And oh yeah, by the way, this team also lost Corey Davis, to the Jets. So with that being said, or you're going to be able to completely mimic what you did last year with the play action and so forth, or teams going to be like, you know what, we're cool. All right, just go double AJ Brown, and we got to make sure we be ready to tackle Henry. Now, what does that do for Tannehill in the offense? So I just don't know. I have no idea, who they're looking at when it comes down to day 3. But it has to be somebody good, because if not, I just don't see the Titans being able to basically mimic what they did last year offensive wise. And I'm not saying, hey, he's gonna throw for 50 touchdowns, or he's gonna run for 20 touchdowns, or anything like that. Whether it be Derrick Henry or Tannehill, I'm saying you have to have multiple threats on the offensive side of the ball, and you got to be able to rush the passer, the passer from the opposing team, if you're going to go somewhere in the playoffs. I know that because both of those things killed us in the Ravens as a player in the playoffs. We couldn't rush the passer. We couldn't stop people from running. Those type of things you need. You need those type of things. All right. So now I'm gonna move to the winners, the winner category. The winning category, and I'm gonna try and blow through this, to tell you why I think they won. There's no particular criteria. These guys are not all top 10, draft picks or anything like that. But the only thing I'll tell you is based off what they need them to do and where they got this particular person or these particular picks is huge for this team or this team because of where they were projected to go and where they ended up. And the team is being, pretty ideal when it comes down to having a good path. Having a good defense, a good offense, and good special team, and a good coaching staff. So, first team is the Ravens. At first, looking at Jason Oweh, I was like, you know what, man, there's no way, there is no way you're gonna have this guy come in and do anything for us. I was mind blown at first looking at the pick, and it's not so much of because I didn't know who the guy was. I was mind blown at the fact that he was still there. I almost knew this guy was going because of people have labeled him as the DK Metcalf of this draft, meaning he ran 4.3. He did an insane amount of numbers on the bench press. He had a crazy vertical leap and so forth. And people just said, "Oh, nah, man, he's just a combine warrior." Well, a lot of people are regretting them passing DK Metcalf still to this day. Us being included. Some people still wanted us, to take DK Metcalf. And I'm just like, you know what? We never knew what the kid was going to be. And also it could be the Ravens, history, having bigger receivers, drafting bigger receivers. It was like, all right, okay, we've seen this before. But Sharp Perriman was a good example. Sorry about that engraving, but I had to say it. So the Ravens. It was a huge get for the Ravens because what you already have on the on the defensive side. Now you have a guy that is basically a missile. Hey, just go get the quarterback. That's all I want you to do. Go get the quarterback. And by the way, he runs a 4.3 40. He runs a 4.3 40. So now you're talking about, hey, I'm gonna send this missile to you, and I'm gonna just have somebody in the backside. So when you're trying to escape out, now all I gotta do is just cover sacks. It's cover sacks. And by the way, the Ravens have a great secondary, and they added to that as well in the draft. The guy they picked, Stevens is underrated to the draft world. A lot of people don't realize this is that, hey, the guy is great in the team setting, playing zone, being able to stop the ball being thrown over the middle, being able to help over the top and so forth. So with that being said, they're gonna probably use him as safety. Even though I think he was labeled as a cornerback, they're gonna probably use him as safety. They use him as safety. So now you're talking about, hey, guess what? Look, I got Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith, and then I put this kid back there just to help patrol the field, along with maybe Chuck Clark or Deshaun Elliott. That to me, that's good. That's really good to have on defense. Okay, all right. For the Panthers already had an underrated defense. I was very high on Jeremy Chin. I'm very high on Derek Brown. So having both of those guys, and now you add the likes of J.C. Horn to that. That's big because he's 6'4". Now you're talking about I can put this guy on because they're in the NFC South. I can put him on. I'm not saying he's gonna lock up Julio, but I can put him on Julio, and it's a little bit favorable if he can run with Julio. Hey, the jump ball, he can jump. He's 6'4". He can jump. If I play against the Saints, Michael Thomas, hey, guess what? He's 6'4". It got to be a perfect throw. Got to be a perfect throw at a perfect time to be able to say, hey, okay, look, I'm now at a disadvantage. With a player like J.C. Horn, you're probably never going to be at a disadvantage based off of his height, his coverage ability, and by the way, the best man-to-man coverage. He's the best man coverage defensive back in the draft. That's my opinion. The other thing is they picked up Terrence Marshall. They lost Curtis Samuel, but they turned around and picked up Terrence Marshall. To me, I think that's a good trade off. That's a good trade off. Now you bring in a quarterback with a Sam Darnold. Now you're able to sling it around. If their defense plays anywhere near where they played last year, and that offense is able to push the ball up and down the field, man, look out! Carolina could potentially make some noise in the NFC South. I'm not saying they're gonna win the division, but they can start looking at the wild card spot. Just like I had Washington football team looking at the wild card spot last year, which were what they got. All right. The next winner is it pains me to say this, but because they're in my division, it pains me to say it. But the Cleveland Browns, have won this draft at this point. Getting a player like J.O.K., Greg Newsome, who I had them in my mock draft, getting in the first round, and now they turn around and round it off with Anthony Schwartz from Auburn. They said they wanted to get faster. They got faster through this draft. If any of these guys pan out to be anything what they ran on their 40 and they play like that on the field, look out, because Greg Newsome, he's to me, he's still underrated. To me, I think he's like 6'2", 6'3", maybe even 6'4". He helped fill that void of, hey, we need a shutdown corner. We need a guy that can kind of do it all. They can tackle. You can shut people down, and by the way, he has good enough hands to where if he wants to be a ball hawking duty, he can do that as well. I just think they kind of hit or miss on a couple of the secondary guys they had in the last few drafts, with Grant Delpit having injury history, Greedy Williams being more of a coverage guy, not a tackler. So I think they lucked out, and they got their guy. They got their guy this year. So now that guy can come in, and who knows? He may make those players that's already been there progressively better because of a technique he uses or because of the mindset. He's like, you know what? I'm here to give this team everything I can give them. And then who knows, what Cleveland may turn around. A lot of people are projecting them to win the AFC North. Who knows? Who knows where they're going to end up? But right now, they have a really, really good roster, especially with Jadeveon Clowney. So look for Cleveland to continue to make some noise on day 3. All right, next team is the LA Chargers. Getting Rashawn Slater early on was a steal. It was an absolute steal, and I just feel them getting him. It just for them to slide this far is huge, because they didn't have really bad offensive line play. They had decent offensive line play, but now you just made it that much better. And now you're going to give it to a highly accurate quarterback in Justin Herbert. And, by the way, you're going to turn around and you're going to give him a weapon with Palmer out of Tennessee. I'm not going to tell you that Palmer was the next Randy Moss. But what I am going to tell you, out of the players out of the wide receivers that stayed with Tennessee having their quarterback issues and their investigation, them being on probation and so forth, he stayed there. He kind of said, hey, you know what? I'm going to just ride it out, and I'm going to go from here. With that being said, who knows, if they had better quarterback play, he probably would have been 1,000-yard, double-digit touchdown type of receiver. So with that being said, I just figure, the Chargers lucked out and got what they wanted. And then, by the way, if that wasn't enough, Asante Samuel Jr. fell in their lap. This is crazy. This is crazy to think about. They have all that in their secondary with Derwin James, and then now you add, Asante Samuel. Man, if they stay healthy, it's going to be interesting. If they stay healthy. Now, I will tell you, if they lose Melvin Ingram to free agency, which he's a free agent right now, if they don't resign him, they have to go get a pass rusher. They got to go get a pass rusher to kind of supplement the back end of the defense. And then now you'll turn around and say, hey, look, we can get after the quarterback, and we can basically, if you do throw jump balls, we're going to pick that mug off and we're going to take it to the house. The next team is the New York Football Giants. Hey, the Giants are killing it this offseason. They're killing it. I don't know if the new coaching staff has said, hey, you know what? We here. We here. We're trying to build this team and win now. We're not waiting to the future. I don't care about, what the critics say. I'm gonna build a team the best way I know how. And then, oh yeah, by the way, when I build this team, we're gonna roll with what we got. Because the players that they're picking, all these players have high upside. They have really high upside. And then what you already have, and you turn around and you say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna add two. So the receiving core, I'll tell you right now, if Kadarius Toney is anything to what his highlights or his gameplay, if he's able to translate any of that over to the NFL, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'll say it. Collectively, from top to bottom, they may have the best wide receiver core in all of the NFL. Top to bottom, receiver core. They may have the best one. Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Kenny Galladay, Darius Slayton. Oh man, that's a lot. And you know, by the way, you sprinkle in Evan Ingram, sprinkle in him. If he's remotely healthy, and he picks his confidence back up, man, whoever their quarterback is, no matter who it is, whether it's Danny Dimes, whoever it may be, David Dimes, whoever it is, that quarterback, you have no excuse if they can protect him. You have no excuse of not being able to push the ball down the field. Oh, yeah, by the way, you can Saquon Barkley back, who's been posting workout videos and saying, hey, I'm ready to go. So they could really, really, really be ready to go and make some noise. How I see it right now, outside looking in, it's Washington football team's division to lose. But I will tell you, if Washington football teams take a step back, I look for the Giants to insert themselves as the favorites. All right, it's funny that the last team that I'm going to talk about winning the draft is the Washington football team. The Washington football team, man, the dynamic defense is off the chart. Great, hardly no holes. Probably, you know, if you look at it from back end to front to back, however you want to slice it, they probably have the most well-rounded young defense, most well-rounded. Now, do they have a lot of holes? Nope, not on defense. Not on defense. Not a lot of holes. But you turn around, well, they had if you want to make an argument, their linebacker spot could be a position of need. But what do? They add Jamin Davis from Kentucky there, who was probably the best coverage linebacker in the draft. People were saying, hey, you know what? He's only good at coverage because they played Tennessee and all his highlights against Tennessee or whatever. Look, last time I checked, Tennessee was a Division I football program. They line up and put their pants on just like everybody else. I don't care who he played against. I don't care what he did. I'm telling you from what I've seen, him playing, even when they played Georgia, he played Georgia well. He played Tennessee well. He played Alabama well the time they played Alabama. So with that being said, you cannot knock this young man's ability to go and drop into coverage. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I want to tackle too. Those type of things are underrated to get a linebacker that can do both. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you know, I'm willing to do more. I'm willing to come down and rush the quarterback. If you send me on the blitz, I'm cool. I can do that. I can share the block or two. That's crazy that he fell right into their lap. And if that wasn't enough, they maybe had a hole or two at the offensive line. They pick up big Samuel Cosmi from Texas, who a lot of people were saying the Ravens may take their second pick and look at Samuel Cosmi. A lot of people wanted him in Baltimore. Some people were talking about it in some of the Raven groups. So him being that dog that he is, he's going to turn around and help Fitzmagic stay up as much as he can. Now, I don't know if he's going to come in immediately and impact the game, but I will tell you this, he will have some starts this season. I can guarantee you that, just because of the work ethic that this guy has and him battling a few injuries that he had, not anything super major, but some injuries that he had. And then on top of this, he's willing to move around the line. You know, if you were going to put me at tackle, cool. You want me to pull, be a swing tackle, swing guard or whatever, I'm cool with that too. I just want to bring the pain to a couple people. That's what I want. All right, and then to round it all off, they get a player, a wide receiver, Dyami Brown. They're one additional piece. If they got one more particular receiver, I would probably make the argument. Still some people still probably make the argument right now that they probably have the most well-rounded wide receiver core in the NFL. And what a lot of people are trying to say is they're thinking Arizona has it. No, I'm not going to say Arizona because who's Arizona's tight end? I still say Washington football team. If they get one more player, because you got Dyami Brown, you got Curtis Samuel, and you have McLaurin. If they get one additional receiver, he ain't even got to be fast, he ain't got to be super, shifty or nothing like that. Just a receiver that's reliable. That's gonna be hard to defend. Especially with that young tight end coming along. So, if they get that, if they find that in this next day of the draft, look out, man. I'm being honest with you. Washington football team is going to be a problem because they're going to have, a great defense along with a good offense, and their running game continue to improve. They could be really, really special. Because I'm being honest with you. I don't see anybody contending with Tampa Bay. I don't see anybody contending with them. But if a Tampa Bay and a Washington football team ended up in the NFC Championship and they have everybody's, still intact, 100% healthy, man, I would love to see that game. I would love to see that game because you're talking a great pass rushing team. You're talking about a great defensive mind and Riverboat Run. And now you turn around and say, hey, look, we're going against Tom Brady and company in the NFC Championship. And I would love to see it, or pay to see it. All right, so that's going to probably do it for this video. I'm sorry it took so long, but I like to kind of let people know how I think and why I do what I do. I know at times it feels like these videos are long, but like I said, this is the way I think when it comes down to some of the decisions I want to talk about, or some of the picks I want to talk about, and so forth. But look forward to my Ravens breakdown. I'll talk about what the Ravens picks are, and I'll put all 3 days in there for the Ravens, unlike I did for just their first 2 days for everybody else. All right, so thank you guys again for watching this video. Thank y'all for the support, and y'all have a good day. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Peace.